Hi, my name is Yvonne North and I work for the Vernon Fire Department. I am here with some special guests today and we are going to make for you macaroni and cheese and some brownies. Are you guys ready to start?
Yeah.
All right, first thing we're gonna do is wash our hands before we get going. So first we're going to start making some macaroni and cheese. We're going to preheat our oven to 325 degrees. And then we're going to start cooking our pasta. So one thing we're going to make sure that we do is we keep everything flammable away from that flame. So that paper box, as soon as we're done with it, we're going to want to put that right into the recycling so that we don't have to worry about it accidentally catching on fire. So do you want to spray the pan real easy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll do it over the sink so that we don't get oil on the floor and cause any tripping hazards and slipping. You can step up one more if you need to. Next, what we're going to do is start grating some cheese. So if you cut yourself on the cheese grater, because a lot of times your hands can slip, you want to go over to the sink and start rinsing that off right away. You want to make sure you don't get blood on your food, and you're going to clean that wound and then put a Band-Aid on it and make sure that your hands are nice and clean before you start cooking again.
So what do I do if the cheese is getting really short and I don't want to cut myself with the cheese grater?
You are almost done. We're going to melt this down, so you can even just toss it in there.
Okay.
And that'll be fine because we're going to melt it anyways. This part will just take a little bit longer. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to mix this cheese up and we're going to divide it in half, because part of it is going to make our sauce and the rest of it we're going to sprinkle over the top and in the middle. So now we're going to start making our sauce. So I have a large saucepan over here. When we put these things on the stove, we want to make sure we have our handles inward.
Got it.
So that way you don't accidentally hit it. And because Edward is a little bit shorter than the rest of us, if he accidentally reaches up and hits that, it could splash on him and cause some really bad burns. So we want to make sure that handles are inward so we don't accidentally hit it, knock it, and small children can't knock it over, pull that on top of themselves.
Got it.
So we're going to turn that onto medium and we're going to add this stick of butter. So what do you think we should do if we get a grease fire and that butter catches on fire in the pan?
Probably turn off the gas.
Yes, and if you can safely do so, you want to put a lid on the top of it. So putting a lid on the top will keep it from getting more oxygen and it'll put itself out. What we don't want to do if we have a grease fire is to spray a fire extinguisher on there, because that can spread the grease somewhere else and then spread your fire. And we don't want to put anything with cloth or anything on there or try and carry it outside because that can burn your hands. So you want to put a lid on there and turn off the gas. You want to be really careful when you add anything to hot oil so you don't burn yourself. So you're going to add just a little bit at a time, and with your whisk you're going to start mixing it in. And it's going to bubble and fizzle a little bit, so you want to be careful of any splashes and start mixing it with the other hand. You can use the whisk there because you don't want that to melt. There you go, and you're going to mix that for about a minute. You can hold on here.
All right.
You can turn that around if you need your other hand. You want to make sure that it gets nice and smooth and you don't have any flour lumps in there. And it should get kind of a light brown and start to bubble a little bit.
Yeah.
We're going to slowly add this in here, and you'll see that it kind of starts to seize up a little bit, but that's okay. We're just going to keep stirring, and you'll see how it gets really thick.
Yeah.
And that's all right. We're going to go really slow. We don't want to splash ourselves either.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, we're gonna lower the temperature just a little bit. We wanna keep it warm, but we want our cheese to melt. So we're gonna start adding our cheese in a little bit at a time. So we're gonna do about half of this. Real easy. There you go. You can see it getting nice and cheesy. And you can feel it getting pretty thick. So this is nice and smooth. We've got no more chunks in here. We're gonna turn off the heat so we don't forget. And leave that sitting right there. So you wanna be really careful when you carry this because it's really hot and it's full of boiling water. When you dump it out, you wanna dump it away from you so that all that hot steam goes the other direction. We're gonna rinse off our noodles. And then we're gonna put them back in the pot. I'm gonna make sure we get as much water off of here as possible so you don't get slippery spots on the floor. And we'll dump that right back in there. Now remember, this pan is hot, so you don't want to touch it.
Got it.
Okay, now we're gonna put just a tiny bit of olive oil over our noodles so that they don't stick together. So we're gonna give this a little bit of a spin and make sure we don't get sticky noodles. Now comes the fun part. We're going to mix our cheesy mess here into our pasta. We're gonna pour half of this into our prepared pan. Then we're gonna sprinkle it with half of that cheese. Then we're gonna pour the rest of it on top and then sprinkle it with the remaining cheese.
Okay. It looks super tasty.
What happens if you burn yourself?
We should run some cold water on it.
Yeah, until it stops burning. Okay, good job on the macaroni and cheese. Are you ready to help me make some brownies now?
Yep.
Okay, you're in charge of opening the box. Being kind of stubborn, huh? There you go. Almost got it. So it says that we need 2 eggs. Now we're gonna mix that all together real easy so we don't get brownie mix everywhere. We got it all? We got the bottom and the sides. You wanna use that to scrape it out some? But watch your hand. I got the bowl, you can move your hand. Oh. Okay, so this has to cook for about 22 minutes or so until you put a toothpick in and it comes out nice and clean. We can set a timer here, and that way we don't forget about it. It sounds like our mac and cheese is done, so let's put a pot holder down on the counter because it's going to be really hot when it comes out. And you see that it's bubbling nicely. That smells delicious. And then we're gonna make sure we turn this off right away. And we have our brownies. We're gonna close this and also not forget to turn it off. So this looks like it's nice and cool and ready to eat. Are you guys ready to try it?
Yeah!
Okay, well we're gonna try it and I hope you guys at home try it too. Thanks.